Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, things don't get better? Some struggles seem impossible to overcome, especially when it comes to illness. Sickness can drain a person physically, emotionally, and spiritually, leaving them feeling hopeless. In Mark 5, verse 24 to 35, we meet a woman who suffered for 12 years from a condition that had no doctor could cure. She spent all her money on treatments, yet nothing worked. When she placed her faith in Jesus, everything changed. Her story reminds us that faith is more than belief. It requires action and trust in God. This event happens while Jesus is on his way to heal Jairus' daughter. A large crowd follows him, pressing in from all sides. In the middle of this, a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years appears. According to Jewish law, her conditions made her ceremonially unclean, meaning that she could not worship at the temple. She was considered an outcast, and anyone she touched became unclean. She tried everything, spending money she had on doctors, but nothing. She wasn't physically weak, she was socially rejected and emotionally broken. Despite her suffering, she still had faith. She thought, if I touch his clothes, I will be healed. This was a bold act because she wasn't supposed to be in the crowd, that's number one. If she was recognized, she could be punished, that's number two. If she didn't ask Jesus, she simply reached out in faith. The moment she touched Jesus' clothes, she instantly healed. Her bleeding stopped. She knew something had changed. Jesus immediately noticed that power had gone out of him and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples were confused. So many people were touching him. But Jesus knew this touch was different. The woman, trembling in fear, came forward and told him everything. Instead of rebunking her, Jesus said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Jesus did more than heal her body. He restored her identity. He called her daughter, showing she was now part of God's family. He gave her peace and freedom, not just physical healing. This woman's story teaches us three lessons. That faith requires action. She didn't believe, she acted on her faith. We must also step out in faith. Jesus responds to her personal faith. Many people were near him, but only she was healed because she reached out in faith. Jesus restores completely. He just doesn't fix problems. He heals heart, restores peace, and brings identity. No matter how broken or hopeless we feel, Jesus is always within reach. Like this woman, let's have faith that moves us into our action, trusting that he can bring us into healing and transformation in our lives. Amen.